Hey dads, I wanted to tell you about a feedback system that I use every single day with my kids that has helped us communicate a lot better. It's called DLP, which stands for Describe, Label, and Praise. I'm going to tell you how it works with a simple example from coaching youth sports. Now, if you have been a youth sports coach, you know that a lot of it just now, if you've been a youth sports coach, you know that a lot of it just consists of cheering kids on with a little bit of maybe sports specific advice or feedback. And that's totally fine. What I want to tell you about with this DLP framework is that it allows you to give specific values based coaching that gives them a label for a thing that they can improve no matter whether it's in sports or in life. Because especially in youth sports, I think about this. Yes, I want kids to get better. Yes, I want to win. I also want them to learn how they can work together. I want them to learn and experience the joy and the self-confidence that comes from improving at something and practicing and putting time in. And this is what DLP does. So what it stands for is describe, label, and praise. And let me give you a specific example of this. So let's say you're coaching youth soccer or basketball. And so you can describe the action of, hey, great job. You hustled back on defense. Okay, that's good. A lot of times we would just say like, hey, great job. Now here's the next part. This is what's important. You were very determined. That is labeling the behavior with something like determination. And the next thing you're going to do is praise it. Your determination is a big part of our success. And so let's go through it again. DLP, you're going to describe the action. You really hustled back on defense. You're going to label the behavior. This is important. This is what they're going to learn. You were very determined to get back there. Then you're going to praise it. Your determination is a big part of our success. So now it's not just like, hey, great job, way to go, or way to hustle. And I say these things, but when you can be a little bit more intentional to give it a label and something that is a behavior, now you think, oh man, now this kid thinks I'm determined. Determination is a part of my identity now. Let me tell you why this works. I first learned about DLP when I was a camp counselor. And again, like it's a way to give feedback that highlights specific character traits. This method goes beyond saying like just good job or that's wrong by pointing out qualities like bravery, kindness, or determination in what someone does. For example, instead of just saying like, way to go kid, you hustled, you explain that they showed determination. Now they see themselves as someone who is determined, which they can use in all different parts of their life, not just sports. And I think something that is interesting about this that I understood as I got older is that DLP isn't just for kids. It also works great with adults, even though you have to be a little less rah-rah about it or they'll see right through you. But let me give you an example of how you might use it. Hey, thanks for putting the report together so quickly. You showed a ton of attention to detail. It was very clear, and your work helped us land a new client. This is way more specific and encouraging than just saying like, hey, good job, thanks. You do need to be, again, like a little bit more subtle with adults. It can't be too rah-rah in the way that kids like it. But I bet you can see how specific feedback, character-based feedback is better than just a generic nice work. I want to be clear and not to like, hey, you got to optimize everything, is that like cheering still counts. There's always a place for a quick way to go or good hustle. But if you can be a little bit more intentional, if you can take a few extra moments when you have them to use DLP, it really changes the way you talk with your kids and even your coworkers. All right, I hope you find this method as useful as I have. It's a simple change. It can make a big difference. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review, whatever this is, follow, like, share with others. I think they're going to get a lot out of it too, and I'd love to hear what you think.